am going to be doing a makeup tutorial on this look. This look I've decided to kind of jump on the whole Valentine's Day bandwagon. I was like, yeah, well, why not? But I really wanted to create something classically pink, but with like a slight twist. So what I decided to do was I did a kind of graphic eyeliner, and I did like an ombre pink graphic eyeliner. So I used a white, a pink, and then a fuchsia, and then kind of blended them into each other. Please bear in mind that even though you are obviously seeing it as a tutorial, it did take me a bit of time and a very steady hand to go in. Obviously I speed it up for the purposes of the tutorial, but by all means take your sweet old time. There's no hurry, there's no rush, unless obviously you're in a rush to go out, but take your time, otherwise that's where mistakes can happen. So this is the completed look. I like the white that is right there as well. It kind of like when you just look at me straight forward like that, the white really kind of stands out. And then I've just gone with very pale kind of pinky lips and a Minnie Mouse top. So that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. Give me a thumbs up if you like some more makeup tutorials to come up soon. Let me have any ideas that you might have below. Other than that, I hope you guys are great and I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you all soon. Bye. Hello Valentine's peeps. Let's start off with priming the eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Enigma, which I absolutely love to use because it is a very neutral shaded matte, and this will keep your eyeshadow as well as anything you'll put on your eyes in place all day. Then I'm going to be using my sample still that I'm using, my MAC Skin Base Visage, which is a face primer. I've got like 10 of these, so I just need to like really use them up. Then for foundation, I'm going to be using my L'Oreal True Match foundation in the shade W4, and I am just dotting this all over my face, and not in any particular technique or way like that, just dotting it all over the place evenly so that my face is entirely covered. This is like a medium coverage foundation, looking lovely. And then I'm going to be blending it in with a Real Techniques buffing brush. Blend. Normally I tend to use full coverage foundations, but this one I realised I haven't used in a long time, so I was like, why not use it? And then I got out my Kevyn Acoin Essential Skin Enhancer in the shade SX11, I think it is. And I'm just covering a few areas where I felt needed a little bit more coverage, because as I said, I'm using a medium foundation. Plus this one's adding a little bit more warmth to my skin as well, because sometimes when it comes to certain foundations, certain lights, your skin can look a little bit pale depending on the foundation shade you're using. And now I'm just pressing it into my skin and blending it out. And I'm using the same foundation brush just to blend it into my foundation so that it's not obvious that I've got kind of two mixture of colours on my face, which would look weird. Done my eyebrows already, which I'll list my brow routine below. Then I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape concealer, which is my favourite Holy Grail concealer at the moment, and I'm using it in the shade medium to cover my under eye bags, which there are so much of recently. I'm so tired, I've been sick, not getting enough sleep, so this is doing really well for me. And then just highlighting the high points of my face as well, because it is the right shade for me to be able to do that. Then I'm blending it all out with a beauty blender, which I obviously love to do. Always my under eye concealer, because I just like the way that it blends out. I don't like to use my fingers or a brush. I just think using a beauty blender blends everything out nicely, and it doesn't make it all cakey under the face. Under the eyes is what I meant as well. And then I'm just blending out everything else. And I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit, and I'm using the shade Banana and that other shade, whatever it is. And very excited that my brush is clean for a change in one of my videos. I'm using a Real Techniques contour brush just to set everything in place. Have you noticed my brushes are always friggin' dirty? I can't help it, I try, but you know what? I don't have loads of brushes like other YouTubers have. I reuse them. Anyway, I'm using the NYX HD powder now just to kind of set everything, as well as the concealer under my eyes, around my eyebrows, and one on all over my lids, just to set that primer so that it's nice and smooth. And then I'm prepping my lips as I always do. I always tend to blot it off afterwards, by the way. I know I don't always show it on video, but I don't leave the lip balm on. Now I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Sculpt, what's it called, contour and highlighting thingamajig in the shade medium dark, and I am using a Sigma 3D HT Precision brush just to place it in all the areas of my face which I tend to contour. I don't normally do around my jawline, but today I was like, it's Valentine's Day, we're going a bit glam, let's just go a little bit extra, why not? As you guys know, I don't normally tend to use cream highlighters unless I'm going full on glam. But using cream highlighters is actually a little bit more natural than using powder ones, because you really have to kind of blend it in so that it gives a nice soft definition to the face. So I'm just kind of doing random things to my face, as you can see. I don't know what have I done to my nose. But yeah, now I'm just going to use that same brush just to start blending it all out. We're not going to leave it like this. This is just to kind of disperse the colour a little bit more around my half chin, depending on how much I've eaten that day, as well as around my forehead and all other areas, my nose as well, just to make sure that everything is blended out. And now I'm going to use my beauty blender to gently go over those same areas, because as I said, you want it to look natural, get rid of any harsh lines that may have been lurking around because of the kind of brush I was using. And then I'm going to set it all using the darkest shade of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. This is the original kit that I use, by the way, for those of you that always ask me. And I'm using my Sigma F40 large angled brush. I'm very lightly going over these areas, by the way, because I don't want the contour to be too obvious and too strong, especially because I'm obviously wearing cream as well as powder. So just going over those same areas where I applied the cream contour. Now I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder, as I always do, and I'm carving out my cheekbones using the Morphe M459 contour brush. I love this. I use this every single day. I don't bake, by the way. I literally use it on my face to tidy up the areas where I feel that needs a little bit of tidying and neatening up, and then I'm just going to brush it off using the same Real Techniques contour brush. I use this brush so much, which is why it always gets so dirty, because as you can see, I've used it for like various different things on my face, and this is probably one of my top 5 favorite brushes because I use it every single day. And then I'm going back in with that same angled brush just to again make sure there are no harsh lines. And then I'm using Tarte's blush palette color wheel, and I'm using the shade Surreal, which is a lovely pink, and I'm applying it to my cheeks with a MAC 129 blush brush. I'm not sure if you can buy these as singles, let me know below. And then I'm using my favourite highlighting palette, which is the Kathleen Lights Makeup Geek Highlight Palette, and I'm using the middle shade, which was called Starlight, and I am applying it to the tops of my cheekbones with my Morphe fan brush. I will list all the names of the brushes and everything below, because let's be honest, who can remember always the names, and they always tend to rub off after a while as well. And then again on my nose a little bit, I only use a tiny bit, as well as on my Cupid's bow. I know it may seem like I'm putting a lot on, but I've used the tiniest amount, and I'm just blending, and not stop blending. Kisses! And now to make sure there are no harsh lines, go back in with the same blush brush without any extra product. So I'm going to be using all Makeup Geek eyeshadows. The first one is Beaches and Cream, and I'm using an E40 tapered blending brush by Sigma, again to neutralize my eyes, make them nice and soft so that it's easy to apply any eyeshadows on top and there's no dragging and snagging afterwards. Now I'm using the shade Cupcake, and I'm using a Morphe M330 brush, and I'm just going to be going backwards and forwards in the crease. I'm not going to be using many eyeshadows or many dark shades because the focus of the look is going to be the eyeliner, but I still want the eyes to have a little bit of definition and obviously keep to that whole pinkish sort of theme. So again, going backwards and forwards, very softly building up this colour. It's a very pale mauvey pink shade, which is why I love to use it quite a lot. And then I am going to be using, what shade is that? Vanilla Bean. And I'm using a 227 fluff brush by MAC just to apply it on the brow bone, and then going back in with that same Morphe brush just to make sure there are no harsh lines between the crease and the brow bone. No extra product on the eyes, by the way, same normal brush. And then just because I may have forgotten to do my finish off my eyebrows, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills tinted brow gel in the shade Chocolate just to tidy them all up. Now for the lid, I'm using the shade Sorbet, and I'm using a MAC 239 classic brush. I think it's called a MAC 239, is that what it's called? You know the one. And it's a very soft pale pink colour because again I want the lids to be very natural, very neutral, and not too over the top, because I don't want them interfering with the liquid eyeliner that is going to go over the top. So this is a very simple eyeshadow look. You can actually leave this as it is if you don't want to wear any eyeliner. It's a very kind of soft pale pink, very girly kind of look. And then again, go back in with that same Morphe brush just to make sure there are no harsh lines. So the first eyeliner I'm using is the NYX Cosmetics Vinyl Liquid Eyeliner. I'm actually really stupid. I thought it was the matte one I was picking up. If you're going to copy this look, use the matte one, not the vinyl one, because the vinyl one's actually shiny. And it was a mistake. I just picked up a black one and I was like, oh, that's it, without actually reading what I was putting on my eyes. Because the eyeliners that are going to go above are matte, so it makes sense to use a matte one on the actual underneath. But in this instance, just do your eyeliner as you would normally do, and just flick it out as far as possible without it looking too weird. And I've kept this line quite thin because again the focus is going to be on this shade here, which is called, well, it's just a white liquid eyeliner. So I'm going in quite thick, as you can see. Take your time, go slowly. I took my time as much as I could and go in about 3/4 of the way. Then taking the next shade, which is called Vivid Petal, and go over that, overlap it completely, and work very quickly because it starts to dry quite quickly. And then I am using this Sigma, what is it, an E06 winged liner brush to blend out and create the actual ombre shade. And I'm doing the same thing with this last eyeliner, which is called a Vivid Fire, which is like a hot fuchsia pink. And again, overlap and then go back in with that same brush. Make sure you wipe off the brush first, and so that way you can create the ombre effect. And then any mistakes where you have gone over the black eyeliner, go back in and tidy it all up, and so that you make it nice and sharp. And then just do exactly the same thing on the other eye. Mascara, I'm using Maybelline's The Falsies Push Up Drama. I'm using this on my top lashes so that I can prep them for the false eyelashes, which are one of my favorites, my Huda Beauty Scarlet eyelashes. And I'm using a Bourjois lash applicator to apply it to my eyes. What was I going to say? I was like, what do I say? I love these eyelashes. They're very full on and they flutter outwards to give you a more elongated kind of cat eye effect. And then for the lower lash line, I'm going to be using the shade Fashion Addict, and I am kind of spotting it and not blending it out onto the lower lash line using a MAC 212 brush. This is just a smaller version of the large one, and I'm not blending it out or anything like that, just so that, you know, because I'm going to place another shade on top, which is this one, which is called Simply Marlena. It's a gorgeous hot pink shade, and I'm blending it out with a Royal & Langnickel Pro Pencil Blender brush. I love this brush, and it's really fluffy and easily blends everything out on the lower lash line. And then I am using the Rimmel Scandalized Kohl Kajal in the shade Black. As you can see, I always tend to use black on my lower lash line. And then I'm using this Urban Decay pink glitter. I can't remember what it's called, I'll link it below. This is optional because the thing is, I feel that it kind of just interfered with the look a little bit. You couldn't even see it that well because, I don't know, I think I just didn't put enough on. Maybe silver would have been better. So maybe just ignore that bit. And then I am using this pinky shade, I can't remember what it's called, I'll link it below. And I'm just placing that on the tear duct to open up the eyes using a MAC pencil brush. The lower lash line, I'm using Maybelline's False Lashes Push Up Angel. I love this for the lower lash line because it's a really thin and long brush, and it really catches those lower lashes really nicely. Then for the lips, I'm using Colourpop's Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Clueless. It's a gorgeous Barbie pink, but it's amazing to use on medium skin tones. It works really nicely, and obviously it completely matches my top, which is always good, and matches my earrings. And then I'm just setting it all with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, and that's it, and you're done. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Whether you celebrate Valentine's, whether you don't, who cares? Enjoy, have fun, and stay safe. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!